Hey everyone, it's Chef Jeremy over here, and I'm really excited to show you how to make this delicious sweet dough for our cinnamon rolls. So we're gonna start with our stand mixer over here, and I got my bowl for my mixer. And into my bowl, I'm gonna start getting all of my liquids and some of my ingredients. So I've got my cup of milk over here. I'm going in with my sugar over here. So this is a half cup of sugar. I'm going in with 1 egg. And I've got 1 packet of active dry yeast that I just like to sprinkle on the top. If you do have old yeast, you can wait about 10 minutes to see if it starts bubbling. Sometimes old yeast won't bubble and won't give your bread rise, but since I know this is fresh yeast, it's just brand new, I'm okay. I'm gonna go into it and just start mixing this up. And just give this a little mix over here. And I like to do this off the mixer because we're gonna use the dough hook on our mixer, and the dough hook doesn't do a good job of mixing. And that's looking good. There's a little bit of variance. That egg hasn't completely broken down, but as I add the flour, it'll mix in beautifully. I'll get all of my flour in here and all of my salt. Never forget the salt. And then we'll get the dough hook on here and just get this going on a nice low speed. I got it on like about a 2 on my stand mixer over here just to start bringing the dough together. It'll take a minute or so, but that dough will start to come together. It's a nice soft dough as it comes together. And so our dough here has worked itself into what I like to call pickup. And that is where all the dough is in a ball. It's moving around. It's all attached to that dough hook and ready to go. It's all wrapping around that dough hook. It is all in one piece. So I want to let this work for about 2 to 3 minutes over here just to knead it a little bit, and then we'll add in our butter. My dough here has been working for about 2 minutes. It's still a sticky dough, but it's smoothed out a lot. It's absorbed all of those dry bits. If you ever notice your dough is feeling really dry, or it's not absorbing all that flour at the bottom, sometimes it can just be drier humidity. A liquid is always a little bit adaptable just in your recipe. So if it's dry, you can splash in a teaspoon or so of milk to really make sure all of those dry bits get absorbed. So I'm gonna keep it in here on that low speed. And I've got my soft butter right here, and I'm just gonna add pieces of butter one at a time. When I say soft butter, I want it to be so soft that it's super squishable, super spreadable in my fingers over here. So I'm gonna get this on that low speed. And just go in 1 chunk at a time. And every once in a while, I'll turn off the mixer, scrape the edges if needed, just to get that butter incorporating. Sometimes it gets stuck on the edges. And once you get to a point where that butter is nice and absorbed, there's still a little residue around the bowl, I can go in with my next chunk of butter over here and keep it working in. And so as you'll notice, sometimes the butter gets stuck up on the back. That is why scraping is so important. And the softer your butter is, the easier it is for that butter to incorporate. And so if you've got really firm butter, a lot of that butter will just get stuck to the side of the bowls, and it'll work in eventually, but it takes a lot of time. My dough just finished up here. I just got my last little bit of butter incorporated. Bowl is looking nice and clean. That dough has soaked up all that butter, and it's nice dough. It's sticky dough, but not so sticky. And I love using the machine because you can really develop a little gluten. When you're hand kneading it, you can't develop quite as much gluten. And I'm using a square tin so that I have a square shape. I want that square container so I can roll it out into a nice rectangle. I'll spray this with just a little cooking spray. Drop my dough in and just press it down to the bottom so that it forms that nice square shape. And the tin you want should be about 2 times the size of your dough. Your dough will rise a little bit. Top this off with a little plastic wrap and just get it in the refrigerator so that overnight it can chill. It has a chance to rise and develop a little flavor, and that butter can solidify so that it'll be a lot easier to roll out tomorrow. And so enjoy. This sweet dough is so good for so many uses. I hope you enjoy.